via that path. The spacecraft Perseverance is currently transmitting heartbeat tones. These tones indicate Perseverance is operating normally and has nothing significant to report. This is as expected. We're currently just over 6 minutes from entry interface.
Okay, now we wait. As soon as we get to the top of the atmosphere, it will be very quickly, which is the entry point. It won't be very long before the atmosphere will start getting thicker and thicker. It's going very quickly at a really steep angle of 15 degrees into the atmosphere, and to start to slow down.
Just under about 5.5 minutes from entry interface. We're still receiving heartbeat tones. We expect to continue receiving heartbeat tones until about 5 minutes after entry. At that time, Perseverance will be no longer in view of our antennas here on Earth. About 90 seconds prior to entry, the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter should begin receiving telemetry from Perseverance and streaming it to Earth in near real time. There are a few expected short outages, such as when we have a plasma blackout or when we enter the peak heating phase. Aside from these outages caused by the plasma blackout, antenna switching, or high dynamic events, spacecraft events, we should have telemetry until about 90 seconds after landing. A plasma blackout is when the signal from Perseverance isn't strong enough to make it through the superheated, super fast air flowing around the spacecraft all the way down to Earth. Once the temperature drops below that peak heating, we do reacquire the signal from Perseverance. We are currently about 4.5 minutes from entry interface. Perseverance continues to report heartbeat tones, indicating everything is nominal.
Just watching the NASA live stream of their
view soon of our vehicle and be able to listen to ones and zeros coming from a separate radio that's really designed to talk between spacecraft.
Radio is powered on.
Listening to the live stream of landing the rover on Mars.
And waiting for to hear from our rover.
Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter has reported that it's ready to receive the signals from Perseverance. It should be in a few minutes here. We are just from entry interface.
We don't need these ones and zeros, as Swati said, but to land safely. But we really need it for our own health and well-being today, to keep our nerves in control.
Around this time, our second spacecraft, Maven, should begin picking up telemetry from Perseverance, and will continue to record that telemetry until several minutes post-landing. We won't get that data for several hours after landing as it's being recorded, and then will be forwarded to Earth later. We are continuing to receive heartbeat tones, indicating that everything is nominal. We're currently at about 3 minutes until entry interface.
Okay. Very soon we'll be getting ones and zeros, I hope, from our radio on the rover. The entry interface is nothing more than just an arbitrary place in the sky that we've defined to be above the atmosphere. But from that point on, there's definitely atmosphere, and above it there isn't.
We are 2 minutes from entry interface. Perseverance will transmit heartbeat tones, indicating everything is normal.
So the tones can tell us whether something's bad or not is happening. So far the heartbeat is doing well. So the vehicle thinks it's in good shape to land, which is a great sign.
We're just under 2 minutes from entry interface. As it gets closer to Mars, Perseverance is actually being pulled in by gravity and accelerating. By the time Perseverance reaches entry interface point, it should be going just under 5.4 kilometers per second. Due to go
Now that's fast,
30
people.
seconds from entry interface and standing by for Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter to pick up the telemetry. We're 1 minute from entry interface.
Just 1 minute until the Mars rover Perseverance starts its descent, or it's been descending, I guess. Well, it starts its way through the atmosphere. So this is the part where it might burn up. It might explode.
The Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter is now relaying data from Perseverance. We're about 30 seconds from entry interface. Perseverance is going about 5.2 kilometers per second and is about 190 kilometers altitude above the surface of Mars. Confirm your update as well. About seconds from entry interface. 5.3 kilometers per second and altitude at 150 kilometers from the surface of Mars.
It's gonna start burning through the atmosphere now. Oh, this is exciting. NASA's landing a new rover on Mars.
They have confirmation of entry interface. Perseverance is currently going 5.3 kilometers per second at an altitude of about 120 kilometers from the surface of Mars. The ship is now waiting until it begins feeling the atmosphere of Mars slow it down. Once there is enough atmosphere, it will start controlling its path to the landing target.
It's crazy that they're able to build all this stuff, though. For real.
Navigation is also confirming that we can see a little bit of that slowdown of the atmosphere on the Perseverance entry capsule. Our current velocity is about 5.36 kilometers per second and an altitude of about 67 kilometers from the surface.
We are probably seeing emerald cosmic blackout at this point.
The vehicle should be doing its turns right now.
Hammer has lost lock.
Perseverance. We have indications that Perseverance is now performing bank reversals in the atmosphere. These are the steps in order to control its distance to the landing target. Perseverance has just passed through the point of maximum deceleration and has indicated that it felt approximately 10 Earth G's of deceleration.
Ooh, 10 G's.
Yes.
We saw a small outage of the UHF telemetry from Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter during that peak heating phase, likely caused by the plasma blackout. Perseverance is still continuing to perform bank reversals in the atmosphere to control its distance to the landing target. Perseverance is going about 1 kilometers per second at an altitude of about 16 kilometers from the surface of Mars. We have entered heading alignment, which means Perseverance is no longer trying to control the distance to Mars, to the target on Mars, but instead is flying straight to the target.
About 15.5 kilometers up from the surface. Getting closer.
Our current velocity is about 550 meters per second and an altitude of about 15 kilometers from the surface.
All the people in the mission control room look nervous.
We are coming upon the straighten up. We are starting the straighten up and fly right maneuver, where the spacecraft will jettison the entry balance masses in preparation for parachute deploy and to roll over to give the radar a better look at the ground. The navigation has confirmed that the parachute has deployed and we're seeing significant
Parachute deployed.
velocity is 408 meters per second at an altitude of about 12 kilometers from the surface of Mars.
Here, I'll give you a look of the screen. Oh.